Ugh, another Vietnam post. Hey baby, what's up?
So we have to bathe the kids tonight.
Did I change the fuel in the garage?
To go for a walk. Also,
I wonder how
don't
much food
forget
we
that
have
we
downstairs.
the pest control
When did we
appointment
buy that
next
food?
Thursday. And
Is it going to be out of date soon?
To the doctor's appointment on
Do I need to buy
Friday.
more
Do you think
food?
you could watch one of them while I take
How much
care of
food is a
them?
normal amount of food for a person to have in their basement? Is my tinnitus getting worse, or was my hearing getting better? Is that even how tinnitus works?
Babe, are you listening?
Yeah, that sounds great. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Mason Holton. Today we are going to be taking a deep dive into prepping and what kind of gear you need and what should your priorities really be in case of an emergency. Before we start looking at gear and food and everything, we need to talk about what a prepper really is. So a lot of people, when I say prepper, they start getting a bad stereotype in their head. Somebody that's going to go dig a bunker in their backyard and store years and years worth of food to try to survive a nuclear apocalypse or something. That just isn't really the case anymore. Well, there are those people out there, and I might be close to one of those people. Most people today, especially after the big C word in 2020, YouTube doesn't like the C word, so we won't say it. But our life-changing event that happened in 2020, a lot of people changed their mentality on prepping, and prepping kind of became less the far extreme version of being prepared and more just everyday people wanting to get ready in case of emergency. Now, prepping goes all the way back to our forefathers didn't have everything shipped to them. It wasn't a supply and demand kind of thing. They took what they thought they needed to survive, and if they didn't store enough food or produce enough water for their family, they died. Now, in our day and age, our system can be disrupted in a heartbeat. And unfortunately, we've lost a lot of the skills that are required to be able to survive in an environment like that. Now, we can go out and relearn some of those skills as adults, but the underlying factor is we are not going to know everything or have enough gear in order to survive every situation. Let's take a look at what we should be focusing on. Now, these items are basic items. We're going to start at the very beginner level. However, if you're a more advanced prepper, if you have more intense preps, but you don't have basic things like what we're going to talk about, then you're going to be in a bad situation no matter what happens. So the first thing we're going to talk about is security, and that's not because it's the most fun thing to talk about, although it is. It's because if you cannot exercise lethal force against someone trying to break in your home and cause you harm, you are going to lose in the end. Now, a lot of people would say, go out and buy a pistol. Go out and get a pistol, get training and everything, and that's great. If you want to go out and get a pistol, more power to you. A Glock 19 like this one here is going to be a jack of all trades, and it's going to do you well. However, and I'm going to say something a little controversial, if you're not going to take the time to go learn, and you should, how to shoot a gun, you should get a shotgun.
Pistols put holes in people. Rifles put holes through people. Shotguns at the right range with the right load will physically remove a chunk of shit off your opponent and throw that on the floor.
And it's a little bit easier to use and a lot more frightening. If somebody's breaking down your door and you rack a shotgun, more than likely that person's gonna think twice about their decisions in life before they break into your house. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't get training. You should. You should always get trained on the gun that you're going to use. But if you're not going to be proficient and confident to use a pistol, get a shotgun. Next thing we're going to talk about, and this is very basic, you should have water. Water is going to be the most important thing that you have on hand. You can survive 3 days without water. You can go 30 plus days without food. If you don't have enough water for people, then at least have a way to make the water for people that you have with you. If you have a well on property and it's solar run or something like that, some way that you can get water without having to go to a stream or something, that's great. If you don't have that opportunity, you need to have some kind of bulk storage on hand. Now, my family personally, we like bottled water, and the reason is we go through and we actually drink them. So as we drink them, we replace them and we never get old bottled water. We always have fresh stuff on hand. There's a lot more options you can go with this. I know Walmart has big 5-gallon totes that you can buy. Anything up to a 55-gallon drum. There's also the commercial grade big water storage containers that hold 300 to 400 gallons of water. However, for most people, it's going to be more convenient just to have bottled water, and this stuff's so cheap. You can get a gallon of water at Walmart for $1. So have enough water for your whole family for at least a week on hand. This is called step-off water. You want to make sure that you have enough to get off and get somewhere else where you can find more water. The average person drinks and uses about 4 gallons of water a day. Maybe give or take some of that. There's a great resource, and I'll put the link up here that you can go to and check it out. And those guys will tell you way more about water and how much you actually need for your family. The next two things we're going to talk about are very basic. The first one is shelter. Now, normally for most of us, the shelter is going to be our home. And if it's not our home and we have to leave, we're going to go to somebody else's house, somebody that we know, a friend or something like that. And we should have that plan put in place before an emergency happens. But then we're going to talk about food. So food, you can go out and just get a simple cans, bags of rice, everything like that. However, that food expires and you're going to look at maybe getting 3 to 5 years out of a can if you're lucky and it's treated right and put in a climate controlled environment. There's a lot that goes into that. Now they can be good past that, but you really don't want to be eating cans that are more than 5 years old. What I would suggest doing instead is going out and investing in food like this. Now, when I first started buying food with my wife, I had to convince her that it was worth buying food. And the way I did that was I explained, we have a savings account and we have health insurance. Why not have an insurance account or a savings account with something that we can eat? If everything goes wrong in life, I always have a backup of food. Now, what we're shooting for is about a week's worth of food at first. If you don't have a week's worth of food on hand, even I'm talking non-perishable, good food, we're gonna have a problem. Because just like in our hurricane last year when we lost power, the majority of people that lost power lost all the food in the fridge and their freezers. Meaning that there were people going hungry, power had only been out for 2 days. So all that food that you might think you have, you might not have when the freezer or the power goes out or whatever. And that's why having something like this is a simple, very base level 48-hour kit you can buy at Walmart. It's just normal food that's packaged. These will be good to 20 to 30 years in your shed or wherever you want to put it. Climate controlled is better if you can, but you can store it wherever you want. It's a bucket. It's going to be fine. From there, our other options are we have like this right here. This is a week's worth of food from my Patriot Supply. It comes in an ammo can. It's a nice shape. It's easy to store. The only thing I'll say about these is they require a lot of cook time from what I've seen from other people. I haven't eaten these. I will. I'm going to go through and test all of these in a different video. But in this video, we're just talking about basics. And this food will provide you, one person, a week's worth of food. Now, finally, if you really want to be bougie and you want to get the nice stuff,
Yeah, boy.
this is a Mountain House can. Now, this will last for 30 plus years. It's all freeze-dried food, requires almost no cook time, and it's very, very delicious. I will eat this rather than eat a home-cooked meal. I love these Mountain Houses. They're great. They're a little bit more expensive. They take up a little bit more space, but overall, it's easier to cook and it tastes so much better. All right, and finally, on the very basic level is medical. This doesn't have to be gunshot wounds and all that, just a basic boo-boo kit, and you can keep this in your car. We keep medicine in ours. We keep a little bit of ibuprofen. We keep some antiseptic spray and a lot of Band-Aids, wipes. We also keep these hydration packs in here in case we need to get somebody hydrated. I think we made this whole kit at Target for probably $25, $30, something like that. There was a sale going on. So just a basic boo-boo kit. Again, we're talking basic level here. You don't have to go crazy. The other thing we want to think about, and this is critical if you're getting a little bit older and you're starting to rely on medication a lot more, you need to have medication on hand to provide for you to keep you alive and going for a while. Now, I don't know how likely it is. I've heard a lot of people say that you can go to a doctor, and if you request to have an emergency stash of whatever medication on hand, it depends on what it is, but if it's not a narcotic or something like that, they will usually write you a prescription to have a little bit extra on hand. Talk to your doctor, see what they say about it, and if they can give you a little bit extra, great. It's always best to have a little bit extra sitting around just so that you can use it if you need it. So we've got our basic equipment set up. We've got a week's worth of food, we've got water on hand for a week, we've got medical, shelter, everything set up. Where do we go from here? And this is where prepping starts to be a lot of fun, because it becomes a lot of thought experiments, thinking about what could happen to you, and start just having fun getting the preps that you want. From here, basic stuff, get a better rifle, preferably a rifle if you can. Get training with it. That is more important than owning the most expensive rifle in the world, is getting training on it. You can make a bad rifle look great if you've got good training. Getting ammo for that rifle. You should probably have at least 2,500 rounds for whatever gun you own on hand at any point. Right now, especially in the world with all the deployment of CS gas in cities, if you live anywhere near a city, a gas mask is a great thing to have. Not just for CS gas, we've seen train derailments and everything off in urban America lately, so gas mask would be a great thing to have even if you don't live in a city. You can get armor. If you start investing in armor, that's a big investment. I would suggest looking on sites and getting used armor first to find out what you like. Then getting more intense medical. Getting medical not just for gunshot wounds and all that, but also just getting anti-diarrhea pills, all of the extra pills, any antibiotics you can get, anything like that. We'll start going down that range. And once we have that done, then we can start looking into specialty gear. Specialty gear, you're gonna wanna look at this as what makes me a better asset to my community and to my family. That's gear that's looking like night vision goggles, thermal gear, drones, anything like that that can help you and your family survive an apocalypse. That's where you wanna go from there. Now all this stuff's great, but it's all expensive. Don't bankrupt your family trying to get it done. Start with buying some basic food. Get a week's worth of food. Get a month's worth of food. Start buying extra water and ways to purify water. That's gonna take you a lot further than having the coolest rifle and the dopest helmet set up. Doesn't matter if you can't eat or can't drink any water. So with that, guys, thanks for watching the video. I know this one was a little bit longer. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. It really helps out the channel and tells the algorithm that's against us that this content needs to get pushed out to more people. And I will see you guys in the next video.